Welcome one and all to another Incubus guitar lesson. This time we're going to learn the wonderful song Pardon Me from a great album, Make Yourself. Before we get into this lesson, let's quickly talk about the effects that are used in this track. A delay pedal is a must, and ideally a flanger. Yes, that's right, a flanger, not a phaser. Mike used a flanger for this track in the studio, but live he uses his trusty Boss PH2 phaser. If you have the PH2, this will work perfectly fine, but it will be closer to his live sound than the studio recording. I will put my signal chain and the settings for my flanger and the Boss PH2 on screen now. Now you know what effects you'll need, let's get into the lesson. So this intro is using a clean sound with a delay and flanger combination, and it's also using volume swells as well. So we start on the 4th fret with our 2nd finger on the A string, your 1st finger comes back to the 2nd fret on the D string, and your 3rd finger plays the G string on the 4th fret. This makes a C sharp minor 7 chord. Next we plonk our little finger onto the low E string at the 5th fret to make an A add 9 chord. The nice thing about both of these is that a B note is present in both chords, so you can play the open B string, meaning you don't have to be scared to catch the open strings as you play. The last part of this sequence is a slide up to the 6th fret with your 3rd finger and play from the G string down to the high E. This is still highlighting an A add 9 chord. The whole sequence sounds like this without effects or the volume swells. Now let's play that same sequence but with the effects added on and the volume swells. Now for the volume swells, you almost want to preempt when the swell is coming. So if you watch Mike play it live or on the video for this song, he will strike the string and then come down to his volume control. So he's always playing the chord and then swelling up. It's not like an instant kind of hit and then movement. If you watch, he'll hit the strings and then come down, and he actually uses kind of his whole hand to turn the volume control. I like to use my little finger and hit the string and then roll on to the volume control that way. You may need to play around to find what's best for you, but it's quite a tricky little movement, especially if you have a PRS too. The volume control is in a really awkward spot down here, usually because of these F holes. I don't know what other PRSs are like, but certainly on my other guitars, the volume control is sort of more about here, so you can hit down and it's right kind of there, and you haven't got to do so much jumping backwards. But see what works for you, and just remember to hit the string, hit the chord, and then come back and swell the note, so you have to kind of be ahead of yourself a little bit. Now moving on to the pre-verse, we turn off the delay and the flanger and we kick on some distortion and we play this. Starting up at the 4th fret, we bar across the low E and A string with our 1st finger. Our 3rd finger plays the D string at the 6th fret, and our little finger plays the G string at the 6th fret as well. We then slide down to an A sus2 chord. I like to keep my 3rd and little finger where they are and remove my 1st finger to keep a similar shape. So the A string is open, your 3rd finger plays the 2nd fret on the D string, and your little finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string, and the B and high E strings are played open. We then slide back up to the 4th fret with the same shape as before, coming back down to the A sus2 at the 2nd fret before finishing with an E5 power chord at the 2nd fret. This is an open low E, and your 1st finger bars across the A and D string on the 2nd fret. All of that put together has this strum pattern and sounds like this. We play this riff around twice, but on the second time round, we start the same way at the 4th fret and slide to the A sus2, but after we slide back up to the 4th fret, we then slide up to the 7th fret with the same shape and then quickly play on the 7th fret with the standard power chord shape. So we're going from here up to here. This uses our first finger on the low E at the 7th fret, third finger on the A string at the 9th fret, and our little finger is on the D string at the 9th fret. We actually finish with another version of an A sus2, and that is the first finger on the low E at the 5th fret, second finger on the 7th fret of the A string, and our little finger is on the D string at the 9th fret. So the second part looks like this. That whole pre-verse riff together is as follows. Now for the verse, we change back to a clean sound and kick on the delay and flanger again, and we start with this. All of these chords are struck and then swelled up to full volume, just like the intro. Our first chord is a G sharp minor 7, and we play this with our second finger on the 6th fret of the D string. Our first finger is back at the 4th fret on the G string, and our little finger plays the B string at the 7th fret. Next is an E add 9 chord, and we simply keep our fingers where they are, but we add our third finger onto the A string at the 7th fret. Now this is a bit of a stretch, so make sure your thumb is in a good position, about halfway down the back of the neck. As you look at your thumb, it should be just back from your second finger around the 5th fret. If your thumb is too high, you can see it's almost impossible to make this stretch and to sound the notes cleanly. The last chord in this first verse section is a D sharp 7. This is played with our second finger on the A string at the 6th fret, our first finger is on the 5th fret D string, and our third finger is up on the 6th fret G string. We finish this part with a dissonant stab on the 4th fret on the B string with any finger you like. I like to use my first finger, and the open high E. So all of that together sounds like this. Next we play a D sus2, which is playing the open D string. Our first finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string, and our third or little finger plays the 3rd fret of the B string, and the high E is played open. We let this volume swell last 2 whole bars before playing the 4th fret B string and open high E again. It sounds like this. And finally we play a stripped back B major chord using just the root and the major third. Our first finger is on the A string at the 2nd fret, and our little finger or third finger is at the 4th fret on the B string. Use your first finger to mute the D, G and high E string, as we don't want them ringing out. We hang on to this for another 2 bars and it sounds like this. After this we turn off the flanger and delay and kick the distortion back on and play fast 16th notes using an A sus2 chord to lead us into the chorus. It sounds like this. Slowly, that is. Moving on to the chorus, we can split this into 2 parts. The first part goes like this. We start on our big C sharp 5 power chord up at the 4th fret again. We then slide this shape down to the 2nd fret and we go to the A sus2 again as well, just like the pre-verse riff, but in a slightly different order. The main difference is the strum pattern, and this riff ends on an E5 power chord to an F sharp 5 power chord. I like to use my third and little finger to make up the E5 and slide to the F sharp 5 like this. However, Mike plays the E5 with his first finger and jumps up to the F sharp 5 like this. Play whichever is comfortable to you. I have played it with the slide since I was a teenager and can't get it out of my head. So that whole sequence and strum pattern is like this. And a bit slower. Once we have played that part through twice, we change the pattern slightly to this. So instead of running down from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret, we go straight to the A sus2 before coming back to the B5 at the 2nd fret, and then playing from the 4th fret G string with the B and high E open. Here you can add the flanger or a phaser while you strum this. Mike sounds like he uses the phase 90 set at a fast speed live, but the recording sounds like a mix of everything as it goes through the song. So it's kind of up to you what you choose here. For that little demo, I was using the PH2 set on mode 1 at the rate about 2 o'clock-ish. You can do whatever you like, really. We play this sequence again, but end with the E5 to F#5 slide or jump, however you are playing it. So altogether, that second sequence sounds like this. The whole chorus part together sounds like this. Everything we've talked about so far will get you through the entire song, so just go back and listen to the song and you'll know which part goes where and what effects you need on, and when the distorted parts come in for the chorus and all that kind of stuff. We only have a slight change at the very end of the song, that once we play the chorus for the final time, we end with our pre-verse riff with a slight variation. It goes like this. It's the same as the pre-verse riff, we just move up to the 7th fret earlier so that we can end on that E5 power chord to finish the song. So once again, slowly through, it goes like this. And there we have it. If this lesson has helped you, hit that like button and check out my other tutorials that are on YouTube as well, like this one for Wish You Were Here, which is on screen now. Thanks for watching.